As you see, our Old Testament lesson is taken from Isaiah. I'm going to be reading from the Message version, so if you wish to follow it in the Pew Bibles, it is on page 707. In the Message, this section is headed, Proud to be Called Israel. But for now, dear servant Jacob, listen. Yes, you, Israel, my personal choice. God who made you has something to say to you. The God who formed you in the womb wants to help you. Don't be afraid, dear servant Jacob. Jeshurun, the one I chose, for I will pour water on the thirsty ground and send streams coursing through the parched earth. I will pour my spirit into your descendants and my blessing on your children. They shall sprout like grass on the prairie, like willows alongside creeks. This one will say, I am God's, and another will go by the name Jacob. That one will write on his hand, God's property, and be proud to be called Israel. God, King of Israel, your Redeemer, God of the angel army says, I'm first, I'm last, and everything in between. I'm the only God there is. Who compares to me? Speak up. See if you measure up. From the beginning, who else has always announced what's coming? So what is coming next? Anyone want to venture a try? Don't be afraid and don't worry. Haven't I always kept you informed, told you what was going on? You're my eyewitnesses. Have you ever come across a God, a real God, other than me? There's no rock like me that I know of. Our Gospel reading from Matthew is over a couple of groups of verses. It's on pages 20 and 21 in your Pew Bibles. And again, I'm reading from the Message. Jesus has been sitting in a boat on Galilee, preaching to the crowds on shore. He's told the parable of the sower, and then goes on to tell another farming story. He told another story. God's kingdom is like a farmer who planted good seed in his field. That night, while his hired men were asleep, his enemy sowed thistles all through the wheat and slipped away before dawn. When the first green shoots appeared and the grain began to form, the thistles showed up too. The farmhands came to the farmer and said, Master, that was clean seed you planted, wasn't it? Where did these thistles come from? He answered, some enemy did this. The farmhands asked, should we weed out the thistles? He said, no. If you weed out the thistles, you'll pull up the wheat too. Let them grow together until harvest time. Then instruct the harvesters to pull up the thistles and tie them in bundles for the fire. Then gather up the wheat and put it in the barn. And a little later, when he told another couple of short stories, he goes on to explain this to the disciples. Jesus dismissed the congregation and went into the house. His disciples came in and said, explain to us that story of the thistles in the field. So he explained. The farmer who sows the pure seed is the Son of Man. The field is the world. The pure seeds are the subjects of the kingdom. The thistles are the subjects of the devil. And the enemy who sows them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the age, the curtain of history. The harvest hands are angels. The picture of thistles pulled up and burnt is a scene from the final act. The Son of Man will send his angels, weed out the thistles from his kingdom, pitch them in the trash, and be done with them. They are going to complain to high heaven, but nobody is going to listen to them. At the same time, right, holy lives will mature and adorn the kingdom of their Father. Are you listening to